go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Journey into Comics with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
I am a god, you dull creature.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 16 of the Journey into Comics. Brando, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Weather's nice this weekend, so I can't complain too much. Hanging out. Got my snow blower to work, so I won't have to worry about snow when that happens. I hate saying that word.
What, snow?
Don't say it again. No. Okay, anyways. So, me and you had talked, and people are going to be like, whoa, there are 2 episodes brand new. Are they cohesive to each other? This is going to be episode completely by itself. The episode we're going to record later tonight, ladies and gentlemen, will be the second half of the Ghost Hunt episode from earlier this month. But the reason I felt we needed to record an episode strictly based on the comic book news that came out this week is because of how big the news and all the things that happened this week in the comic book world were. So for your listening entertainment this week, Brandon and I are going to devastate ourselves.
Oh yeah, man. It's all worth it though in the end.
Oh yeah. It's been a good week for us in Journey into Comics. We broke our 200 likes. We'll be doing a giveaway later tonight on the show. Well, today actually, but whatever. Anyways, let's get right down to it. Brando, the Hydra has struck again, and they leaked Marvel's Age of Ultron trailer. And instead of Marvel going, oh no, take it down, they said, hey, let's show you the real one where it's HD and you can actually appreciate how completely badass this movie's going to be. And the trailer for Age of Ultron, 38 million plays in about 2 days.
Holy crap.
It broke 23 million plays in 24 hours. So that just gives you a kind of an example of how epic the trailer, the teaser trailer for this movie was.
It was a pretty long teaser trailer. It was like full length, wasn't it?
2 minutes, 18 seconds, yeah. But I don't think you got enough to really, I have studied it and probably watched it about 20 times. So I have enough notes on it that I can kind of say what I'm seeing anyways, but we'll get to speculation shortly. Brando, what did you think of the trailer just as a fan of movies in general?
It definitely, seemed to be planting seeds. Of course, they showed just enough of some of the new characters, to pique your interest, just to let the people who maybe aren't really, knowledgeable of the comics or any of the characters, that there's going to be more than just the characters from the first one. They definitely, they introduced a new, some new suit concept, like the Hulk Crusher or Smasher armor. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Hulkbuster.
There you go. I was waiting.
Hulkbuster.
I figured you'd get
Hulkbuster. Yeah, oh yeah. But they introduced that, which introduces another concept of the, you've got to think if he's using that, then our good pal Bruce Banner's probably out of control or something.
Well, it could be that Banner's out of control, or as we'll get to in the speculation, there is a possibility that Tony isn't controlling Iron Man's suit right then, and that Ultron is actually the one using that to fight Hulk.
That is also a possibility right there.
So
pretty much it even though it was the length of a trailer, they really didn't show you a whole lot. And one thing that I really liked was the integration of the Pinocchio song.
Oh yeah, and it's funny, you're not going to hear this, Brando. Again, don't have the whole button thing figured out, but I actually made a button of Ultron and his epic There Are No Strings on Me line, which just sent chills down my spine. So if you haven't heard it, this is just a little snippet from the very end of the trailer. And as Brando was saying, they had taken the Pinocchio from the 1940s Pinocchio, the No Strings on Me song, and actually turned it into this like almost evil, slow, creepy, dark version, I'd say, that ends with this. You know, for me, I I read the Age of Ultron event that they did last year, and I thought it was fun, but I thought, not much can really come of this. Now they've turned Ultron into such an iconic character over time. In the past, I mean, he debuted in Avengers 54 slash 55. He did the whole one panel first appearance in 54, and then his full first appearance was 55. He has become such an iconic character because he is so evolutionary in himself. But a lot of people online were saying Ultron kind of is like a kid. He is a robot that, Tony Stark created, and he barely has any idea of consciousness. He figures out that humans are the greatest threat to Earth. Nothing else is a threat but the humans. So then, therefore, he starts hunting the Avengers, and their kind. So Ultron has been built up as this large, humongous villain, and I think they've done it right. I think he looks really great. People are like, man, he looks like three different things. What's going on? We've seen different pictures of him. And to that, people need to recognize that Ultron in the Marvel Universe and then Ultron in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be constantly evolving and changing until he's perfect. He's almost like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. He wants to reach his perfect form.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that concept of humans are the greatest threat to the planet. That's not a concept that's lost on Hollywood. That's kind of been done before. I mean, did Tony Stark create Skynet? Is that what they're saying?
Maybe. I mean, Tony Stark really didn't create Ultron. They're going to allude that Hank Pym had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But again, we'll get back to speculation. Just from what I saw of the trailer, I found that it was very captivating, but there were so many little tiny Easter eggs. You see Captain America's shield broken in half.
Broken. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And my first thought, everybody's like, oh my God, the Avengers are dead. What the heck? People are quick to forget, and I'm hopefully not going to spoil anything, and this is just speculation and Easter eggs kind of tying in together. Scarlet Witch can project whatever universe into everyone's minds. Like, that's one of her powers. That's how House of M, which was a comics series Marvel did several years ago, that's how that works. She had essentially projected a different image of Earth on everybody's mind, so everyone thought that mutants were the superior being and that humans were actually just like slaves. Which was a really interesting concept. So I think that when you see Captain America's shield broken in half, Thor's hand is like, it looks like he's dead. I'm wondering if she's either dreaming or projecting this into the future, and that is what's kind of showing that, it's showing if we don't band together as a group, this is what's going to happen to us.
Oh yeah, I mean the trailer itself, because I only got to watch it last night. I've been really busy all this week. I'm running behind on everything. Never had much time to get it, and I kept forgetting. I finally watched it last night at work, and as someone like me, who I mentioned before on the podcast, I sort of gave up on the superhero movie genre. I mean, it does look pretty epic. It looks awesome.
Yeah, and
not to just talk over you, but
oh, sorry, it happens.
No, dude, it's cool. It's just I don't know. It seems like, I don't know, more serious than the last one. Maybe that's just the vibe that the trailer's giving, because they can't change the formula too much, because they've got to keep that sort of sense of lightheartedness as well. But from just the trailer, I definitely got that feeling that it was dire.
One thing that someone pointed out online, and not sure where I read it, whether it was like on Superhero Hype or in the comments on YouTube, but it seemed that Marvel has kind of fallen an age-old Hollywood formula. And when I say these, you're going to be like, oh, exactly. But it's almost like the sequel has to have a darker tone. And you had that with, Empire Strikes Back, much darker movie than the first Star Wars. Then you have like The Dark Knight, a much darker movie than the Batman Begins. Back to the Future 2 was definitely darker than the first one. So it's like they have kind of this archetype, and they said, okay, the Avengers are screwed. And other things I noticed, it looks like Banner and Black Widow are going to have some sort of love interest in each other. Did you get that?
That yeah.
I mean,
I was trying to wrap my head around that.
giant Hulk hand out to little Black Widow hand, and I'm just like, okay, well, maybe. I mean, you got to think they are comrades, and they are going to spend a lot of time around each other, so maybe they've grown fond of each other. We know
Maybe
that one
just
thing.
maybe
Go ahead.
hold on. Maybe Hulk is gonna smash in an entirely new manner.
Oh, geez, that's always been a question. Like he can't do that because he would, if he went Hulk. While I mean, ripped in half is an understatement. I mean,
Woo,
destroyed.
yeah.
You know. Maybe that's the only part that doesn't go green. I don't know. you
So
know.
he's Are you saying that like everything gets bigger, but that one thing that he wants to get bigger?
Yep. It just stays normal Hulk size or Bruce Banner size, and he's just like,
Oh
ah.
man. Then all the other heroes are gonna make fun of him.
Yep, true. So other things I noticed in the trailer, it looks like a character who you're probably not even going to know this name, and I don't blame you, but Ulysses S. Claw looked to be in the trailer. Did you see that scraggly guy with the beard that just looked kind of out of place?
Yeah.
Like, why are you there?
Yeah.
So
Oh
what
yeah.
I've gathered from this trailer is, I think a lot of the movie, the Avengers are going to be in South Africa or in Wakanda, which leads us to Black Panther. Ulysses S. Claw is one of the main villains of Black Panther. He goes to Wakanda to find vibranium, which is what Ultron will eventually use to forge his perfect form. So it seems like all roads lead to Wakanda. We're going to probably have maybe Black Panther showing up to help. Maybe not. Maybe this is just introduction to the Black Panther character, and we won't really see him in action. Very possible. It also kind of looks like Tony Stark is going to go back to the garage and that little kid from Iron Man 3. There was a scene where he's talking about this is the end of the path I started us on. And if you pause that frame, he is I'm pretty sure he's actually in the garage that he like souped up for that kid in Iron Man 3. Did you see Iron Man 3?
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, so
But I
it's a little
but
sub story, but it's still pretty cool.
yeah, don't worry about spoiling it because I know what happens.
Yeah.
Uh because at work it got spoiled for me. I just said go for it because I've said before, and I'll reiterate, I kind of like fell off of the superhero movie path, and I had almost no interest in seeing the film because of how much Iron Man 2 kind of like left it flat for me.
Yeah, it really did. Which and I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love Iron Man the character. I think Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic. I don't know how many more Iron Man led movies you can do though. I think he's better in a team, and I think he's better fighting big name villains. But if you put him up against another Whiplash or a character of that nature, a Viper, any multitude, even though the Mandarin wasn't actually the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, if the actual Mandarin character would have been in Iron Man 3, I think it would have made the movie a lot better. So I don't know how much longer you go on as Marvel going, okay, well, we can just keep bringing RDJ in and make money. Like, it's got to be about content and keeping your quality high because the fans are smart enough now to know when a movie sucks and to know when a movie rocks. We saw how great Guardians has done. Trying to think if there's any other major Easter eggs I'm forgetting from that trailer. Go through the whole thing again in my head. There was a scene for like a tenth of a second, and I don't know if this is again something that Scarlet Witch does or what. Maybe I think that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are going to start off bad on Ultron's side and then realize what he can accomplish, and then they're going to become Avengers. And I think that Scarlet Witch is actually going to project the 1940s into Steve Rogers' mind because there is a scene in the trailer. It's like a tenth of a second. It literally is like, boom, click, it's done. And you see, and if you can pause it just right, he is in the 1940s, but he's got his modern Captain America suit on. And I don't really know how they're going to explain time travel any other way.
Well, I think that's exactly what they're gonna do. So that makes a good a good storytelling aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if she starts screwing with all the Avengers
Yeah.
heads. But a lot of people believe also, and we talked about it, and I love Wes, but he was very adamant, and there's no way they're doing Civil War, or there's no way they're gonna touch Civil War yet. And then Marvel announced this week that Captain America 3 is gonna be Civil War. Like, they aren't hiding it. it is very open out in the open that it's coming. But we'll get back to Captain America 3 later. I just wanted to reiterate that in Age of Ultron, I think they're going to start breaking this Avengers team apart, completely apart too.
It makes sense with what has been rumored for the future, like Avengers films,
Yeah.
especially if they want to involve the Guardians or anybody else. I mean, it's going to become too many characters.
Yeah, very, very true. And you don't want to bog a movie down with so many characters. It's like, oh, I got to see every character I love for 3 minutes, but it was just one long fight sequence, and I got no substance.
Right.
So,
Hey,
anyways,
it's like a Transformers movie.
oh, busted. That trailer for Age of Ultron was better than the entire franchise of Transformers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd almost go on that. I mean, the first film was pretty decent, but that doesn't make up for all the crap that came after. So
Yeah, kind of when you only have one good film in your franchise and you got 5 really bad ones, or 4 really bad ones. I don't even know what number they're at now, like 15 or something.
no,
It's
no.
5, right?
Yeah, no, they did 4, but thankfully it's not 15. Holy crap!
Okay, yeah, that'd be just crap. But anyways, we'll move on right now. We'll start talking about TV. Brando, did you want to take over and talk about Gotham?
Yeah, oh yeah, I can talk about Gotham. I'm caught up on Gotham now because I needed to get caught up for the podcast because I've had a busy week. Gotham has been really neat so far. I mentioned in a previous episode that I was worried about formula. This one didn't really have that formula. It did, but it kind of broke it. Like you know what I mean? It had more to do with the actual like the story of this episode this week was the introduction of basically Venom, and they called it Viper. But it was maybe like an early form, is what I was getting at, or they were developing it through I can't remember the name of the company now that worked with Wayne Enterprises, but they're basically introducing the substance that Bane gets addicted to.
Oh, so that's cool. That leads us on that right path,
Yes, and the way they did it, they kind of broke the formula a little bit with Gordon and Bullock. Basically arriving at a crime scene, like a murder scene. Although the scene that they arrived at was in a murder scene, and they still kind of got stuck with the case anyway, even though they're homicide.
Just their luck, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, let's just go on with this. I gotta say, I'm really gonna praise the performance of David Zarias. Is that how you say his name? The guy that played Batista.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Is that how you say his name?
I think, yeah.
Oh, anyway, I'm sorry if I butchered it, but no, I'm really liking him in this show. I liked him in Dexter, of course. He was a good character actor there, but he's playing an entirely different character here. He's playing Maroni, playing that thug, that crime boss, very ruthless, and I think he's doing a very good job at it. The whole storyline with the Penguin continues on here with him, and Penguin has been making some awesome moves, setting himself up after his fall with Fish and everything. And then I don't know if it was in his plan all along, because if it's in his plan for him to look like he's messing up, but really it's going to suit him later on, maybe this would be cool. But he revealed his entire past to Maroni.
Yeah.
And then Maroni pretty much doesn't believe the fact that he's just came back and that he's cut all ties with Falcone. So there was that storyline aspect, along with the whole Venom or Viper, whatever they called it. It was Viper, was the name of the episode. So then this stuff gets out on the streets, and what this stuff does, and it's a bit different than what it does. It does increase your strength. It makes you almost superhuman. It makes you addicted to milk and cheese because it eats away your calcium at your bones.
Really?
And after a while, your bones crumble and then you fall apart. This dude stole an ATM from this little quickie mart.
I got a little bit past this part. Yeah, I remember the quickie mart guy, because they said, "How did he do it?" And he just walked off with it. Well, no, he didn't. Well, yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yeah, no. So they end up threacking him down, and he's behind under some bridge or something. And he's like, help me. I need more of the stuff. And they're like, trying to arrest him, trying to like put the cuffs on him. He freaks out and pushes him away, picks up the ATM like he's gonna throw it at him, and then his bones start breaking, and it falls on top of him.
Crushed.
Yeah, and then there was a whole plot. Like the guy that was doing it, and he was a scientist that was working for the name of that damn company that was working with Wayne Tech. I can't remember who and what the heck that company was. It began with a W. But yeah, he was going to unleash it on some of the higher ups at Wayne, and Bruce was there, and Gordon and Bullock ended up stopping him. But did you? So you haven't seen the teaser for next week?
No.
You'll want to see that.
Okay, well, my plan is to try to get caught up. It seems like tonight's going to be pretty crazy busy. Just I'm going to be leaving here, as I told you. Leave here, drive home. That's a 2-hour drive. Then spend an hour or two hanging out, and then get ready to go again with Matt, which will be fun to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
As soon as I can squeeze in catching up on Gotham, I mean, I need to because tomorrow's another new episode. So it's like, I got to hurry up. Son of a bitch. So this is something I ran across, and maybe this should go into the rumor mill that we do, but you're talking about Gotham now, and I can't help bring it up. I read online, and I'll give you the entire formula, and I want your opinion, but there is a strong basis of belief that Oswald Cobblepot is actually going to be the Joker.
I've heard that.
Now, did you hear how they kind of pull everything together?
No, I did.
Okay, so this is the theory behind the idea that he will be known as the Joker. Look at his facial structure, his ruthless killing, and all that. He's not a fat guy by any stretch of the imagination. He does kind of walk like the Penguin, or like a penguin, whatever. So Gordon, bang, allegedly kills Cobblepot. Cobblepot comes back to Gotham. So at some point, he's gonna either have to run into your crime boss peoples, or like if he runs into Fish Mooney, hey, he's not dead.
Right.
So what's the best way to alleviate that? You sell your name to someone else, or someone who really looks up to the Penguin, which at some point there will probably be a character who will look up to Cobblepot when he gets more power in the show later in the series. Look up to him to the point where you go, okay, you're going to be Oswald Cobblepot. You're going to be known as the Penguin. Just gives the name to this kid as kind of like a sign of, hey, you're carrying on my legacy. And then he goes full crazy, gets rid of his name altogether, starts wearing the face paint, and no one knows who he really is.
That's interesting. I'm not sure how much I personally like it.
Well, it would be screwing up the mythos of Batman. It'd be really strange. But to introduce him to the show, I mean, this has kind of been the big game all along. Everybody's saying, oh, well, we might already know who the Joker is. Well, that's a thought,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that would throw like a wrench in the whole thing for sure. But yeah, it is. As I said, I'm not sure how much I like it because, in a sense, I like the way that they're doing Cobblepot anyway. Is a bit of a change from the mythos.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean,
Cobblepot was supposed to be this rich kid, a part of this family that the Wayne family either destroyed or they were. He blames the Wayne family for his family being stripped of their namesake.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how much I like that, but I will say one thing to you because I looked it up just to make sure that this is who it is. Because I mean, again, as you said, this show is kind of changing stuff around. Because I mean, the Batman mythos has been around for so long that it only makes sense to change some stuff and throw people for a loop, right? Is exactly as you said with the whole theory of the Joker and Penguin. Guess what? One of your favorite villains is going to appear in the next episode, and just guess who he is.
One of my personal favorite villains of Batman.
Yes.
Will appear in the next episode. Huh. Well, it's not going to be Ra's al Ghul. That doesn't make sense. He's on Arrow right now doing that. Well, maybe on Arrow. We don't know yet. possible. It can't be Riddler because Nigma hasn't really done anything special, and he is like my favorite. It's not Joker because they wouldn't spoil that. Uh, I'm gonna say Clayface.
Scarecrow.
Okay, that was my other guess, but I thought that was maybe too obvious.
No. He's wearing, the bag over his head. He's got, the slits and everything. And when I saw it, I said, that's fucking, that's Scarecrow. But as you said, with, they like to change some stuff up. So I'm like, I looked it up just to make sure. And I looked at it again. I'm like, yeah, that's him. So
Okay.
I like what they're doing because they're introducing early forms of a lot of these villains.
Yeah, and it's cool because they're growing these roots. The only thing I don't like about Gotham, and maybe this is, I don't know, left field for me, I would love to see some of these people that are playing these villains go up against Batman, and I don't know that this show will have longevity to get us to that point.
Well, one of the things that I'm thinking of is that as the show goes on, they're going to have to keep introducing or developing new characters, new villains, either from the mythos or even coming up with original ones like they've sort of done.
I'd love to see Hush in Gotham. That'd be
That'd be
super awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is how Gordon's going up against these guys, and they're going to have to kind of change his mindset around these people if they ever get to a point where there is a young Batman in this. He's already got to be well aware of these people.
Yeah. Here's a weird thought. Do you think that maybe okay, so season 1 is what do you say, Bruce is probably 10 right now, maybe 11?
I'd say that, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's right after his parents' death. So.
Okay, so could you see next season, maybe they do a little bit of a time jump and maybe now Bruce is 14 or 15. And then maybe when they go to season 3, he's 20 and 21, and maybe do a little bit of recasting in the Bruce Wayne character, evolving it enough to where we will see a more adult Batman.
I would like that, but at the same time, I think it would kind of strip the formula that they've created, because the show is supposed to be centered around Gordon. So if you put Batman into it, he's going to have to be a secondary character to Gordon.
True, which they're good at telling stories. I mean, they could grow the roots of how Bruce comes to quote unquote become Batman, and then don't make him such a star, but just make him, when he needs to save Gordon, he saves Gordon, but Gordon can handle his own,
Well, yeah, the one thing that I can see them doing is kind of doing a little bit of the Smallville formula, where you pretty much see Clark growing up, coming into his own, but you never actually see him as Superman. Ever. He never actually dons the classic Superman outfit.
Yeah, that would be, I don't know. They could take from Smallville, and that would be okay, I think.
Well, yeah, just for that aspect of developing Bruce's character, what becomes of Batman. And then by the time the show has run its course, it's like, okay, if they're going to end it, then it's going to be, okay, I'm becoming Batman, and it's the end of the show because they've told their story.
Yeah.
That's one way that I can see them doing that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll stay in DC a little bit. I want to see Constantine. I didn't get to it yet, but maybe by next episode I'll be able to have been caught up on the first 2 episodes of Constantine. I don't want to fall too far behind on a new show, because last time I did that, it was Arrow, and that was a mistake. So let's talk about The Flash. Now, officially, they have ordered a full season of The Flash, so we're going to have a full 23 episodes for the first season of Flash, which did not happen the last time Flash was on major television. It got canceled. Episode 3 happens, and we see Barry, and he's still kind of learning and struggling with his powers, and he's the whole idea that they're finding these metahumans, and they find this mist guy who essentially can poison people or go into people's lungs or, whatever. And he has bad blood with this company, and he's, taking people out. I find The Flash to be very entertaining. He has some wittiness behind him. The character development across the board has been solid. Honestly, some of the best character development I've seen on a new show. next to Gotham. I mean, those are probably the top two for new character development, this whole different multiverse. Uh, Barry and his team have kind of decided that they need to start containing these metahumans. So they take inside of Star Labs, where the particle accelerator was, and they turn the now destroyed particle accelerator into holding cells for these villains, and they capture the Mist. Now, one thing I thought was really cool is they do a flashback episode to the night that Star Labs exploded, and they really throw a wrench in the game plan, because it seems that Dr. Wells kind of knew what was going to happen at Star Labs, and he also knew and had video evidence on Barry Allen when Barry gets struck. So he planned that, or he knew it was coming, or something has caused Dr. Wells to know what Barry Allen is going to become before it actually happened, and I thought that was really interesting. Now, another thing this flashback did was it introduced us to Robbie Amell's character, and I do believe that's Stephen Amell's little brother. Might need to do a fact check on that, but he looked just like Stephen Amell. But Robbie Amell's character will eventually become Firestar, I think. I think that's his name. I'm not 100%. Again, I don't really follow DC as much as I should. So his character apparently is dead, quote unquote, but the particle accelerator, again, pushing all this energy out through Central City, has created all these metahumans. So it's possible that that's how we're going to have this rebirth of this character. Overall, I thought the new episode of Flash was decent. They haven't done anything yet that made me go, oh, I need to stop watching this show. Like, it has stayed very much like, oh, I can't wait till what they do next week. I can't wait to see what they do in 2 weeks. I can't wait till episode 8 where they do the epic Arrow and Flash crossover. So I'm very much anticipating watching the first season of The Flash. They've got me hooked, and I can't wait to continue on. Now, talking about other shows that have us hooked, Brando, how was the barbecue last Sunday?
Well, see, the thing is, you and I, and a lot of other people, we're privy to some of the information that happens in the comics. So, from the get-go of the episode, when they were in the was Daryl? He heard something in the woods. I'm like, uh-oh, I know what's gonna happen. Well, because and then it kept leading up to it. And it happens to our good friend Bob. In the comics, it happens to somebody else.
Yeah, it did. It was really cool to see that too. And when last season was going on The Walking Dead, and we saw Gareth's group, the first thing I thought was, oh, they're the hunters, the Fear the Hunter storyline. And then we didn't really get the payoff to know that that's what they were. You weren't ever officially told that they eat people or anything of that nature. So when we find, Bob hears something after this epic speech from Abraham, which I loved, by the way. Abraham is just rallying the troops like, we have to get to D.C., and it is a must. And Rick, I need you on my side. And Rick goes, okay, let's do it. Like, sure.
I mean, yeah, because the others have pretty much stated they're not going to do anything unless Rick does it.
Which is pretty awesome how they're showing their allegiance to Rick so strongly now. There was a time coming out of season 2 that I don't know if the group would have all said, okay, whatever Rick does, we'll do. I think had Abraham's group met Rick's group back after the farm burns down in season 2,
yeah.
I think that some of the group, like maybe Andrea and Michonne and a couple others, say, you know what, we'll go with Abraham. We'll take our chances. Later, Rick. But they didn't, and we know where we are now. So Abraham gives the epic speech, and for some reason Bob goes, hey, zombie apocalypse, might want to go outside the church alone. Dumbass. And next thing you know, he's waking up to Gareth telling him that he tasted much better than they thought he was going to, which was very creepy. Now, one thing I've noticed about The Walking Dead, I don't know how many people you stand around your cooler at work and talk to about the show. I have met and talked to a lot of people this past week who have been really thrown off by the cannibals. They're actually kind of like a little too much for some people.
Really? they hint at it at the end of season 4. The few people that I talked to it's like they kind of saw that, and almost all of them can say, I can kind of see that happening in the apocalypse, sort of. I can maybe maybe a little too much for some, but with as you said, it threw you off with the Terminus thing, right? With the Fear of the Hunters.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't how they started it in the comics, but think about what they did in the comics when it fell. Where did they go? They went back to the farm, right?
Yeah.
In this one, they all got scattered. So Terminus served as a catalyst in the show to get everybody back in the same spot. Hence why I think they also got out of there pretty quickly this season. They didn't, because I was really afraid that they were going to stay there like half a season, and they didn't. It was like first episode, in and out, done. But what it did do is that it fractured the hunters group, Gareth's group, made them want to hunt them down, kind of maybe get some revenge, and also do what they do. But that set that up in the show as a different way to get to the Fear the Hunter storyline.
Yeah, it was great. Another thing, and we didn't even brush on this yet, which is kind of shocking. We did get to see our first appearance of Father Gabriel, and I tell you, Rick does not trust him at all.
Not at all.
So what do you think he did that's so bad that he confesses, I am a sinner? You know, my sins are on me, Rick. You have no right to know what I have done wrong.
Yeah. Are they going to keep that the same, or are they going to go a little bit different with it from the comic? Because the comic, he shut people out of the church, right?
Correct. Which is kind of what it seems like he did here, but
Yes.
they have not focused so much on a random group of people that he shut out of the church, but a one specific lady.
Yes.
So we get to see this Father Gabriel character, and I kind of loved it. He's just this, I'm just a dude, and this is as far as I've ever traveled outside of the church since it all went down, and I know where we can get more supplies. And those walkers that were in the Salvation Army place with all the food were some of the grossest I think they've ever put on the show. Just all slimy and gross.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of that one that was in the farm well.
Yes, exactly. The well walker that gets pulled in half. Gross.
Oh yeah, but the second episode was a lot slower than the first one. The first one was pretty much action packed. Second one, you have to think they have a lot of characters in one spot.
Oh yeah, they do.
I mean, the end of season 4 or the last half, they were all spread out, and they could take an episode to focus on Rick, Carl, we'll go over here, focus on Beth and Daryl, and do that stuff and develop those characters. Now they got to take a little bit of time in each episode to focus on Maggie and Glenn right here for this like 2-minute conversation. Go over here to Rick. It's just it's kind of frustrating, but also I understand it, because it's a lot to manage in a TV show, whereas like in the comic you can really take your time and flesh out your stories and your conversations with how you need to do it. In the show, it's a much limited thing to do and put together.
Yeah, but I think they're still doing a good job. But like you said, there are so many characters that have so much importance that they try to kind of keep it. They kind of have to keep the nose of the car pointed forward at all times.
Yeah, they did do a good job of pretty much touching on everybody that needed to get touched on. Even in this last episode, they actually took a few seconds aside to establish I can't remember her name, but the girl that was with the governor's group.
Oh, Tara.
Tara, that's her name.
Yeah.
I knew her sister was Lily, right?
I do believe so. Yes.
Okay, yeah, because that they kind of changed stuff, some stuff around for the comic. But yeah, Tara came clean with Maggie about what had happened with the governor's group, and that she was with them during that whole thing, and she was afraid that that Maggie was going to resent her for her being involved with what the governor did to Herschel. And they took just about a few minutes just to establish that, get that out of the way. They don't really have to deal with it again.
Yeah, no, that was good. Other things I noticed, talking to some people, there are like rumbling and rumors that if something were to happen to Glenn, that maybe Tara and Maggie end up together. They kind of seemed a little close after she said that, and it was just like, Maggie was, without any hesitation, well, you're here with us now, and she
Yeah,
just accepted her with open arms. Um,
I think that may be pushing it a little too far. Maybe down the line you can have that, but just to have, you know, whatever happens to Glenn happen to him, and then it goes straight to, well, I'm alone, you're alone. Hey, let's be together. There's only so many people. I wouldn't bite on that right now.
yeah, no need to try to bite on it now. We're talking about Walking Dead, so we might as well just segue ourselves on down. Tell me you got to read 133.
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
so tell me you have also read, we kind of get to, hey, Brando, remember where we said we were going to at some point get to talk about The Walking Dead and all the stuff that's happened in the comic book? Here's that time. So quick recap, 130, we get, have we talked about 130 on the show?
I don't know.
130 was when the walkers start talking.
Okay, I don't know if we did.
And then,
No, we didn't because Wes was on the show.
so I think that was 131, actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember. Anyways, the major points that we need to touch, we think with our group and our time jump that we've got some people that believe that the walkers are saying things. And at first you're just like, okay, this comic is taking such a kind of goofy twist, and I'm not really sure where it's going to go. And then we kind of end up at the hilltop, and we see Carl is starting to kind of settle himself down. But then 132 had a big reveal at the end that left me completely speechless. And Brando, what was your immediate reaction reading mainly like the last 2 pages of 132?
Okay, so 132, that was when the scout group is out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. So that's when the so-called talking walkers attack them.
Yes.
Okay, and then it's sort of revealed that they're not actually talking walkers.
No.
They're people wearing walker skin.
Which
Walker.
is dark.
It is dark, and you gotta think that's kind of risky too.
Yeah. Because of
mean-
exactly what just happened to some of those talking walkers, people that are wearing walker skin. Some of that group got taken out,
Yeah.
And that's how we find the reveal is like, oh my God, like this dude just had that walker's face sewn onto his, like not actually sewn, but it was like a mask.
I know, but think about it like this. I mean, the worrisome of doing that would be like if you scratch yourself and some of that gets it, like, would you get infected?
Well, you got to remember, and this is, I do believe, both in the comic and in the television universe, everyone's infected.
Oh, I know.
It's
But,
just death, or if you get bit, because the bite, something about the bite, pushing the, zombie walker blood into your bloodstream, I guess, is the only way they can really describe it.
well, because the scratch does it too.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there and you like scratch yourself, does that create enough abrasion of the skin to have some of that go into your system? I mean, that raises a lot of questions, and I mean that'd have to be risky, and I hope that that they're going to explain that and see how they go about that, because that when you're thinking about that and you're saying, okay, guys, we're going to put on, not just smear ourselves with it, we're going to put on their skin, their clothes, we'll stumble around, act like we're walkers. Okay, we'll say some dude is clipping his fingernails. I don't know why. and he cuts it just a little too deep. Oh man, now I got a hangnail, and he bleeds, and he gets in there, and he gets him, and he turns because zombie guts got into his hangnail.
That would be a terrible ending for somebody, but I could see Kirkman doing it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it just I don't. I'm not sure about how smart that really is for them.
So we had more moments of oh my gosh and what to do. One thing we have learned after reading issue 133, these people that are wearing walker skin could be more dangerous than Negan, could be more dangerous than Governor. They seem crazy. Like they have reckless abandon and they don't care. And the final panel of 133 left me just going, no, not him. Like, don't know. Like, they leave you at such a point where Jesus is in trouble.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like, I hope Kirkman doesn't just go, okay, well, whatever, Jesus, your time has come, buddy. Click, as Kirkman does with No Care. Like, just pick a time and let's get rid of him.
He must have tea parties with George R.R. Martin.
Oh, yeah. Him and Moffat as well, the Doctor Who writer. They all just sit around and go, who are you going to kill this week, buddy? Oh, I'm not sure. I think all of them, but I'm not sure what order I want to do it. That was Martin's response, obviously.
Yeah.
And Moffat's like, as long as there's a love story. Kirkman's like, I don't care about love. I just want to see blood and guts. Let's do it. Bye-bye, Glenn. Click. So
going back to what we said on the last podcast, they teased that to no end. I remember seeing that on Facebook. That dude standing behind Glenn with a baseball bat.
And they know why they're doing it. There's
yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's so clear. If you've, obviously, if you're listening to this episode and we're discussing these in comics in detail, hopefully If not, hopefully you're skipping past it. But how he meets his untimely end. Or timely end. I don't know how you want to say that. I think everybody has a timely end in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, just whenever their time's up, okay, let's keep going.
Whenever their time's right.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like Kirkman wakes up one day and he's taking a shower and maybe he's singing like, feeling good on a Wednesday, and the next thing you know, he's like, man, I think Maggie needs to die. How do I want to do it? Issue 203. All right.
I am Rob. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I am Rob. Yeah. Those were good episodes of South Park. Man, I'm trying not to crack up laughing because they've been so on point with South Park. Anyways, so I think Walking Dead, the comic universe of The Walking Dead, has actually put the group in another interesting predicament.
Another thing, that group that got introduced at the beginning of this new storyline, that group with that woman, I can't remember her name right now for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm still learning the new people's names and I can't.
Yeah.
I don't think they say their names enough to even remember. I think they're introduced once and you have to freaking remember. And, back when they were introduced, they had a month break.
Yeah, but they're sitting around the table talking to Andrea about some of the things that happened. Because I think they're worried about, obviously they found Negan in a cell, and they didn't buy into his bullshit.
Not yet.
So then they're talking to Andrea, and they want the truth, and that's right before Jesus takes off, because Jesus said something about are the horses in a stable, and Andrea's like, I don't know what your code is with Brick.
Yeah, and you're like, what? You got some secret love interest going on with Rick there, Jesus?
And Carl got to see some boobies.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. What's up with Carl growing up?
Man, he's grown up before our eyes, literally, in the comic book.
Yeah.
Because that's how we perceive it. Anyway.
and so the gal that did that wrote him a note, and I thought that note was kind of interesting because now Carl is of age to the point where if they gave him a love interest, it's not going to be out of the question.
No, and I think it's going to end up becoming some of that teenager love triangle thing, because I think Sophia's got something for him too.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. Without question, So let's go ahead and jump ourselves down into this here rumor mill. You posted something on the Journey into Comics Facebook that I had no clue about, and after reading it, I can understand completely. Again, with my big don't cross over universes, I don't know if the role's right for him, but I kind of also like the idea that The Rock is in talks for playing Apocalypse in the new X-Men.
Arocalypse.
The Arocalypse, as I so aptly titled it. I think it's a cool casting choice. I would say instantaneously it's a no-brainer. He's got the right build for it. He has enough acting chops at this point in his career. If you try to give The Rock this role maybe right after Scorpion King, I would have been like, you're crazy, but he has done enough and has enough range in his character to play a psychopath like Apocalypse and do it well. My problem is strictly he's Black Adam in the Shazam movie. Again, now you're playing two. If he gets cast as Apocalypse, he's going to be playing two major villains in a Marvel and a DC movie. Come on now.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I kind of, I'm not sure if I'd want to see him as Apocalypse because I think he's a better actor than that.
Yeah, I could see that. Another guy who would be kind of cool to see, the Mountain. The dude from Game
Yeah,
of Thrones.
okay.
He could make a really good Apocalypse, actually, just because his build is ridiculous.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he would definitely have the build. I'm not sure about the acting chops, but yeah, definitely the build. I don't. I like The Rock as a hero role because then he can be utilized and then brought back. Like, okay, so you mentioned that he's Black Adam, right? Has that been completely confirmed, or is that still sort of up in the air?
Confirmed.
It's confirmed he's Black Adam.
Yes.
Okay, and that's kind of sad to me because I kind of want to see him as maybe is a dream casting. That's all this is, as maybe the Green Lantern.
That would have been cool. I could have seen him I know Ray Fisher has got the role, but I could have seen him playing Cyborg.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility. Shazam would have been, again, he had a chance to get the Shazam role, and of course he went Black Adam, which is kind of funny, but I could have seen him as that character as well. So I think The Rock is going to position himself in a way that almost as Vin Diesel has done. He's going to be in enough places that it's not going to matter what The Rock does.
Right.
It doesn't matter what The Rock does, Like,
I was wondering if you're gonna let that go.
no, I can't let that go. Come on now, jabroni. Uh, anyways, yeah,
No joke.
you douche. I called you jabroni. Anyways, so I think if he gets cast, it's way too early. Well, I guess it's really not too early. They're going to have to start filming Apocalypse next year to get it out by 2016. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's go time. We're going to start getting names and who's officially going to be in this movie. So we don't have much time to speculate on if The Rock's going to get the role. Which is funny to say, rock roll. Anyways, damn it. But I think he is a good enough actor now that I don't care what you put him in. I'm probably going to see it.
You see, and the thing is that we don't know if he got this role.
Oh no, your role. That was very.
We
good.
don't know. We don't know if he has that yet. As we said on the last episode, there's that rumor of Tom Hardy, and that I haven't heard much on that after we talked about it.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been much about Tom Hardy. I feel like there was another Doctor Strange person that had been named as a possibility.
Shucks, there was, and I can't remember who it was.
Let me see if I can quickly and efficiently pull it up.
Yeah, I want to say I did see something, and I can't remember exactly who the heck it was. I want to say it was a little off the wall.
Yeah, I thought so too. Internet's not working as fast as I'd like it to be.
You kind of sound like a robot.
Yeah, sometimes robot
like-
happens. Oh, come on.
Well, see, of course, we're recording this over Skype, and throughout the episode, I've been having a few issues where maybe you're cutting out, but that really sounds like a robot.
Maybe I am Ultron.
Okay, Cyborg.
I am Ultron. Yeah. Uh-oh.
I am Ultron. Yeah.
Yeah.
No more strings on me.
Yeah. No strings on me. When he does the whole Hunger Games. Yeah. Hunger Games. Like, I was just dying. I'm like, man, Randy Marsh, you're so funny. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are fans of South Park. Real quick, did you know that Quicksilver is going to officially be in X-Men Apocalypse? Well, unofficially, one of the directors slipped and said that they planned a role for him for X-Men Apocalypse, and that they might actually also write his own solo film.
So going to be same actor then?
Yeah, Evan Peters.
Okay, yeah, that works. Now, I have heard that they're going to be maybe doing some recasting on some characters. Obviously, they're going to be a lot younger.
Yeah, I mean, that's sensible. Of course, I can't.
This is taking place in the 80s, right?
Yes.
So, but are they going to include Logan?
Not sure, considering, Hugh Jackman is aging. He is not Logan. He will, in fact, age and get older.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Also, Days of Future Past, before that, he was saying he was kind of wanting to be done with it, and after Days of Future Past, he got reinvigorated with it.
Well, yeah, it was so good.
So he's open to doing it. And he also he really wants to see Wolverine in like in an Avengers movie as well before he's
Which
done.
I think I see Sony and Marvel working together before I see Fox and Marvel working together, which is unfortunate. Um,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Oscar Isaac. I don't know who Oscar Isaac is, but he has also been rumored for Doctor Strange. Let's see, Oscar Isaac, what he is important for. You're gonna have it before me, slow ass internet. Yeah, Gyllenhaal is in the running.
Okay, he's in Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh, you know who another name has been? Just I'm reading this little article. How about Ethan Hawke?
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
which is interesting because he was. Oh wow.
Oscar Isaac was also in Prince John. He was Prince John in the newest Robin Hood movie,
Oh, cool.
and he was
Okay.
Blue Jones in Sucker Punch.
Okay. Okay. So now we know who that is. So yeah, interesting to see him if he were to get that role. I think. Um, moving right along now, Jesse Eisenberg hasn't even officially been Lex Luthor. Like, we don't have an official movie of him yet as Lex Luthor because Batman v Superman doesn't come out till 2016, and it looks like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is gonna be the leader of the Suicide Squad movie, which again, as we said off air, makes sense. Uh, Jesse Eisenberg is a great actor, in my personal opinion. I know some people will disagree. I thought he was great in Zombieland. I thought he was phenomenal in Now You See Me. Social Network, he was great in that movie as well. Uh, right alongside Spider-Man, Lex Luthor, Spider-Man playing roles together there. But I feel Jesse Eisenberg is a strong enough actor that if you bring his Lex Luthor to a Suicide Squad and build a team around him, like a reverse Avengers or a reverse Justice League, that it would be really brilliant actually, as the bad guys are trying to be, just bad guys.
Yeah, the itchy asshole league,
Oh yeah, because
the
the
the Legion of itchy assholes. That's right. That's what it
there you
was.
go.
I forgot about that because it's the Baller Minutia League.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
League
they
of
don't know what we're talking
the
about.
baller minutiae. No. So I wanted to real quick, because last episode I kind of sucked. We didn't officially thank Veronica for like hooking you up with those games.
Actually, I did.
Oh, you
I think
did. Okay, that's
I
good.
thanked her. I did thank her a lot for that, but I would like to thank her again.
Okay.
I would like to thank her so much for hooking me up with that deal. I mean, not just on the NES stuff, but also on the Genesis stuff, because I wanted to buy all her Genesis stuff. I really did. But we were going other places, and I didn't want to, blow my money right then and there. I probably should have just went ahead and did it. But she gave me a great deal on breaking some of that Genesis stuff up. So I want to thank her so much for doing that. Does she listen to the podcast, or is she
Not
anything?
sure, but really the person that we both need to thank before you thank Veronica would be my buddy Anthony, who actually
Oh
led me
yes.
to that deal. If it hadn't have been for Anthony, I don't think Veronica would have just been like, "Hey, I'll sell it to some random strangers," But she hooked us up with a nice deal and was very cordial with us. And so from us to them both, thank you. Um, there was a
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
want to. Okay, so I want to thank Anthony as well for bringing that to the table. We need to find some way to recreate the I am Taco picture and
Oh
get him
yes,
autographed for him.
that it's happening. We'll just next time Wes is up, we'll make it happen. We'll make him take the picture, and I'll go get it
Hmm.
nicely developed, and then we'll have him sign it, and it'll be cool. And then we'll say, even if Anthony wins the drawing that we're getting ready to do here in a little bit, we can still give him the runner-up prize because he created it. And it has to say, what did he say he wants Wes to sign it as? We were private messaging, and he said, oh, he wants it to say Viva Taco.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I also want to thank Veronica for having us meet her at that awesome barbecue place.
Bombers,
Bombers,
which
yeah.
was the bomb.
It was the bomb diggity.
Yeah. So I felt like one thing I want to mention, Rob, if you're listening, he did not get to talk hardly. I know we call him Silent Rob in joking and in jest, But really, I was hoping that we could get him to kind of open up and say more than just like, well, not really. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know who I want to play Doctor Strange.
Oh,
You know?
we'll see. What when you get you and me on the podcast and Wes, we talk a lot. Trying to get a word in edgewise with us three is hardly impossible. Like when Wes was on and you guys were in the same studio, I had a hard time getting a word in edgewise because I didn't want to just talk over people. So it was good to have him on. Of course, we recorded a special holiday edition of the podcast to be aired during the holiday season when we can't meet up, where we played Cards Against Humanity.
Excited for that one to release.
And so Rob did he talked during that one as well.
That's true.
And then he did actually participate, and we all had a lot of fun with that. We were all kind of slap happy and tired, so it'll be really interesting going back to listen to that.
Already have done it. It's a pretty great episode, actually. It's really funny. Like, I'm gonna need to maybe find a couple people close to me as testers and go, is this actually as funny as I think it is, or is this just crap? Because if it's not funny, we'll still release it. I don't care.
After about the 30-minute mark, we actually start telling some funny stories.
Yeah, we kind of had a little round table of funny stories, and a lot of those were about Wes. A couple were about me, which I'll play along. I don't care.
Yeah. One of them that I did want to mention, and I guess I'll mention it right here because I'm thinking about it, was the "It's in my eye" story. I'm trying to remember exactly how that got started, because did you throw a drumstick on the ground and it broke?
No, I think I hit the snare drum, and I think it bounced off the snare drum and got me.
Because then did you get like a cramp or something?
Yes.
The Charlie horse?
Yes.
Yeah, Charlie horse, and then something got in your eye and you yelled, "It's in my eye!" And then you just crumpled to the ground.
Oh, yes, I did. Ugh.
And I want to say around that same time was the
Oh, Jason. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that was
here's what I'm gonna need from you, Brando.
all right, what do you need from me?
So I'm gonna right now. We are at 5:55 p.m. my time,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go ahead and check. We have more people that have liked the Journey into Comics post.
Yes.
So before the official giveaway, I'm going to step away, let you have a few minutes with our listening audience. I'm going to get these names written down, taken care of, and in my hat, and then when I get back, we'll officially do this drawing.
Cool. I guess I could share that story about my NES if you're listening, if you can still hear me.
Yeah, go ahead and share it. I will, well, I don't want to have, you know what? That's how I'll do it. I will mute myself and then put the audio on so I can hear you talking. Okay.
All right.
So that's how we're going to do it, folks. I'm going to go silent for a minute, and you guys are going to have Brandon. Enjoy.
All right. Well, okay. So last weekend, I went and hung out with Nate, and wow. So yeah, the speaker on on Nate's end it kind of does that one little thing that we did during an episode where it creates that one little like delay. And it made it kind of hard for me to talk there for a second. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. That was difficult. In fact, I went to go say your name, and I said naked instead. I tried to say on Nate's end, but I said on naked. But anyway, so I got an NES last weekend, and I got the what's called the top loader, and it is the re-released version of the NES that came out after the Super Nintendo came out. So it's kind of like a Super Nintendo where you put the cartridges, instead of putting them in front and pushing them down, you just put them right on top of the system. And I got it from a store up there and around Nate's neck of the woods. And it didn't come with the original power supply. It came with a kind of crappy power supply that had two cords coming from it that could power an NES and a Super NES. So I get home. Of course, we tested it out up at Nate's house, and he mentioned on the last episode that Metal Gear. That's one of the games I got from Veronica. That worked. So I'm home, and I'm testing these games out. And I'm on like the third game, and I put in Double Dragon 2. And I got like this, the Bishu Ultimate Fight Porn Stick. And so I plugged that in, and it doesn't really want to work right. And I'm like, oh, well, if this thing doesn't work, I'll It's not that big a deal. It's not really what I wanted. And the system turns off, and I can't get it to turn back on. Nothing. I'm getting no power. So now I'm really afraid that I fried a capacitor in the NES top loader, which if I did that, I am up shit creek without a fucking paddle. So then I plugged it into the Super Nintendo. I didn't want to turn it on either. The Super Nintendo power supply, my normal one, it turned it on. So I'm thinking that hopefully it was just the power supply, that I busted this shitty ass power supply. So I get Rob to bring me his NES power supply, plug it in, the system works. I test out all the rest of the games. All the rest of the games work that she gave me, and as well as the Genesis stuff. Everything I got from her worked perfect. But that damn stupid ass power supply, if you're going to buy, I think it's called a retro bit power supply, do not buy this piece of shit. Because I'm not kidding. On the second time of doing this, it busted. And the NES top loader doesn't have a light to let you know that it's on. Like it turns on and you either get a picture or you don't. So please, if you're going to get an NES, get an official NES power supply or something better than that piece of shit. Because that made me so afraid that I busted that system, and I'm like an hour away or an hour and a half away from being able to return it for being faulty, or at least for them giving me a crappy ass power supply. So thankfully it works. All I got to do is get another power supply. And I want to thank Nate for hooking me up with Metal Gear Solid VR missions on PS1. He gladly donated that to me, and I'm very, very happy. Nick, if you're listening to this, I know you're jealous. I don't care. You need to suck it. You need to suck it and just deal with it, because that VR missions is really fun. I always liked playing as the ninja, the Gray Fox. The only thing that's kind of sucks is that you can't play as Decoy Octopus. But really, when you think about it, are you really playing as Decoy Octopus the whole time? So I'm hearing some pretty weird noises on the other end, on Nate's end. He is rocking back and forth like Mankind in the corner. So I can hear him over there. He's kind of talking to himself. He's pulling his hair out, which is kind of hard to do because he's got his. Have a nice day. I was wondering if you could even hear me. Things we do for our fans. I want to introduce you to Sako. Hey, Sako, say hi to the Journey into Comics fans. Well, it sure is nice being here on Journey into Comics. Want to say hi to all you fans out there. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just kind of killing time at this point. I told that story a lot quicker than what I thought I was going to. How many more names do you have to cut out, bud?
The answer is 4, and I am officially back, folks. I got to get my headphones on, so bear with me for... Oh, wrong headphones. That's my luck. I grabbed the spare pair, and I was like, what? No, that's not what I want to do. The spare pair. So I just want to real quick go on record and say, man, we put this post up, and my biggest fear for this contest was like, well, what if nobody enters the contest? Or what if 3 people enter the contest, and that's kind of lame. So I thought, next best thing, let's just say like 30, right about 30 likes, and we'll do the contest. We got 27. 2 of those people, because they are friends and family of mine, I disqualified, I guess. So Sarah and Dad, you can't be in the contest. Thank you for liking it. I appreciate you helping us get close to 30. But Brando, you think we should just go ahead and do this? I've got my hat. You guys can you hear that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, cool. I dropped like 6 names. So now I gotta make sure I have everybody.
Yeah, please. Let's give everybody the same fair shot here.
Got to make sure Mr. AH did it. I know he probably doesn't listen to the show, but maybe he does. I don't know. Make sure he's in the contest. He liked our page and stuff. And thank you to everybody that shared it, because that was outstanding. We had like 1,000 people that could see our post at that point, or 1,000 plus. So that was really something special. So what I'm going to do now is Should I draw it or should I call Dad in and have him draw it?
Well, either way you want to do it, maybe they might believe. I mean, come on, they can't really see us. We're not filming it, so they wouldn't even know if your dad really did it, other than him standing there and talking. But
Yeah, I'll just Dad, come pull this name. That's how pro I am, guys. I just yell, "Hey."
You're yelling back at him.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, my Faja is going to reach in this thing, pull out a name, and then I'm going to read it right live as soon as he grabs one. He's going for it. He's mixing them up. He's not looking. And, man, the suspense. Suspense is killing me.
I feel like we're on an episode of, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
We have a name here. Go ahead and hand it to me. The winner is Aaron Hunzinger. AH did it, which is interesting. I was just talking about how he doesn't listen to the show, and sure enough, his name was pulled. So, Brando, I think you said we might need to draw like 1 or 2 backups just in case we can't get his information.
Yeah, let's go ahead and draw them. We won't announce them, but we will, give him, a chance to answer our call for the, and then if he does not get back hold of us within 24 hours,
okay,
then we will move on to whoever got picked second and then third.
Okay. So I've got the 3 names here. Our 3 finalists. So,
well, congratulations.
Yeah, Aaron, congrats, man. It's funny because I think the first little post I put that, hey, go like the official Journey into Comics post, he said, I want that. That's something I would like to have. So maybe he will actually want it.
Yeah, man, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, so, wow. A lot of buildup, and now it's just done. I finally get to get rid of it. Woohoo!
It's just like kind of like, sex.
Fair enough, I think.
All that build up, and it's over.
Oh,
sleeps.
Yeah. So, man, that was fun. You know what I think we should also do?
No.
So I've got this second runner up, and maybe we'll draw a third name now, just as a default backup.
Oh, is this for the autographed I Am Taco picture?
Yeah, that is a thing. So the I Am Taco picture will go to the name that's drawn out of the hat here. Let me... I got one. Let me see. Flip it over here. And, oh, my God. I could not do that again if you paid me. The name I drew for the I Am Taco runner-up prize, Anthony Schoen.
Get the hell out of here.
I am serious right now.
No way.
Yes, dude. I am holding it. That is the craziest thing. So I'm going to have to draw a runner-up to his prize just in case he doesn't want it. And that name is going to be... I won't say on air. Because of... Hey, you told me. You said, hey, gotta... So I've got my runner-up for that prize as well. So I've got my 2 main names here. But what I was actually going to also say is I think we should keep the names that were for this competition as these little slips. And the next time we do a competition, just because they entered this competition, they're already entered in the next, even if they don't like the post.
Awesome, man. You know what? That sounds great.
That way, we've got a nice little group of people to build off of there, and they can be included in our journey into comic goodness.
Hell yeah.
So, I think that's the episode, man. I don't know. Do you got anything else you want to add, talk about, discuss, bring up?
Honestly, not much. I think we covered everything, and I'm ready to take a little bit of a break and hit it back up with some, hopefully, with some ghost audio.
Yeah, ghost audio. So that'll be fun. I am Lord. Yeah.
Feeling good on a Sunday.
I tell you what, they really kind of turned the music industry on its head with that, because that's like dead on to how they do it,
Oh, I know.
Just like, add a little auto-tune here, and double up these tracks here, and the next thing you know, it's really great, even though I suck. So yeah, this was a fun and kind of short, which I'm okay with. Episode Journey Comics is episode 16. No strings on me, I think is what I want to call it.
There you go.
It's aptly fitting because the majority of the first half of the episode was talking about Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Journey into Ultron.
I am Ultron. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No strings on me.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be no strings on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I think
There you go.
we can name it that. I'm into that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 16 with your hosts Nate Phillips and
Oh, suspense. All right, not as quite as suspenseful as the name picking. Brando.
yes. Whoa, sweet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear our freaking voices next time, and yeah, check out the Ghost Hunt episode that'll be up later tonight or early tomorrow, one of the two. We are happy to have said we successfully got through our October doing what we said we would, releasing an episode every week, which could be a trend we carry on sometimes, depending on the month.
That would be cool.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time. Later.
Peace.